you should never owe people money. That makes it very hard to then ask for money. Throughout my career, if you needed to ask for a raise, you kind of thought, who am I to ask for this? It was kind of like, how can I be more successful than my husband?
Money is also connected to self-worth. If you don't feel worthy, you also see that it reflects in how you, for example, price your services or your products or whatsoever, and how people actually react. Hola, Reina. Welcome to the Feminine Ledger, the space where we as women step into our financial power and build wealth our way. And this is where we keep it real, raw, and deeply inspiring, because talking about money shouldn't be stressful, it should be empowering. And I'm your host, Denise Edwards, and we're live from the Rupture Studio here in Malta for another powerful and heart-centered conversation. So what's the Feminine Ledger all about? It's about owning our financial power and doing money, success, and legacy building on our own terms. So we explore money journeys, the wins, the struggles, the surprises, financial lessons, what worked, what didn't, and what changed everything. Legacy building, how we're actually creating wealth that lasts. And today's guest is a true visionary when it comes to emotional intelligence, healing, and conscious parenting. Ballester is the founder and chief emotions operator of Life Wizards Academy and the creator of the Life Hero app, both designed to help children and their parents understand, express, and regulate emotions in a healthy, empowering way. And as a certified life coach and practitioner, such as NLP and CBT therapies, Lauren brings together neuroscience and compassion to build emotional literacy and strengthen the bond between parent and child. Her mission is simple yet powerful: to equip families with the tools to navigate emotions, build resilience, and create emotionally safe homes where both parents and kids can thrive. Through Life Wizards Academy, she's transforming the way families communicate, connect, and grow, one emotion at a time. So welcome to the Feminine Ledger, Lauren Ballester.
Thank you so much for that intro, Denise.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm glad that you've invited me to Malta. Such an amazing place, by the way. And happy to be here. So this is going to be a little bit different because usually I have guests on that, I've just met, but we know each other for quite a long time.
Yes.
And I checked actually this morning because I went into my emails to just see when was the first day that we had our first conversation. And it was May 10th, 2022.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's like 3.5 years that we've been
Yes.
speaking to each other, that we've known each other. Wow.
Yes, definitely.
It's a long time.
I'm really, really curious. How do you feel looking back from that day till now? How do you feel sitting here with what you've achieved? And obviously we're going to go into detail more on that, but I'm really, really curious.
Well, I mean, if I look back to where we first started, gosh, I feel like I was a baby back then in comparison to where I am right now. There's been exceptional growth and a lot of learning in the last 3.5 years, I guess. I've come a long way. I was really very much like a deer in the headlights in those beginning days. And right now I feel confident and really good about where I'm at. And it's been a good journey. It's been amazing.
Yeah, I personally have to say, Lauren, I'm so proud of you.
Thank
honestly, you. When we first met and just how you've the trajectory that you've been on and just you sitting here and just all of the things that you've done and you're still doing, for me, it's just amazing just to see that trajectory. So
that's so nice to hear. Thank you for saying that.
No, it's true, because if we're entrepreneurs, so sometimes it's you're just in your own bubble and there's not, unless you have mentors and things like that, there's not a lot of feedback or soundboarding to get. So I always find it important to recognize and acknowledge the growth of what you've done, etc. And we've seen a lot of growth, so we're going to go into that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, to that point, it's true. Starting out as an entrepreneur, it's a very lonely journey.
Yeah,
and I don't think I would be as far as I am without the soundboarding and the collaborations and those important conversations, especially when you're so focused on your own craft.
Yeah.
things outside of that aren't always your zone of genius, or when you're in a room by yourself, you're not hearing yourself out loud. So speaking to people, having these kinds of conversations is so important to the journey.
100%, 100%. And going into that, so how have we met? For the viewers, of course, they would love to know.
So I was feeling a little bit lonely in my entrepreneurial journey, and I was looking for kind of a business mentor, somebody who could help me more on the financial side of things, on the marketing side of things, someone who could give me a little more insight into business. And also being a startup, I was looking for somebody who could help me figure out what that journey looked like. And I came across your business, and your profile matched exactly what I was looking for. It felt like kind of like a match made in heaven. It was really good.
Serendipitous.
And yeah, it was so serendipitous. And it was, and then I figured the best thing would be to reach out to you and see what the journey would look like. And here we are.
Yeah, it's super interesting. So what did you need, did you feel at that time? What were the aspects that you felt that you needed that you thought I could potentially help you with in that?
I didn't know exactly at the time what I needed. I think there was more of this intuition that I needed somebody who had more skills. Looking at your background made me realize that this was something that I needed in my business, the skills that I was lacking with, short of me hiring a team of people. And like I mentioned earlier, kind of on the financial side of things, somebody who could guide me. I used my own, I was self-funded at that time, and I needed to grow in my business. I needed guidance. I needed mentorship. I needed an understanding of the climate. And in fact, when we first started talking, and that's why I said I didn't know exactly at the time, when we first started talking, I got this opportunity to go onto a TV show called Changemakers here in Malta. And it was kind of like a Shark Tank or a Dragon's Den kind of vibe. And I knew that I needed some kind of financial support to grow my business to where I needed it to be. And having met you, understanding that that was something that you specialized in, really solidified the relationship that you and that was really a pivotal moment, I think, in our initial discussion. So it was, at first it was more of an intuition, and then it kind of grew into that. And I'm super grateful, by the way, for everything that we've been through together.
Of course. No, you're welcome. Maybe talk a little bit about what you're doing currently with the business.
Yeah, so, wow. It's currently I've just launched a mobile app, which is a game for kids. It's called Life Hero, and it's basically a game which helps kids learn how to deal with their emotions, understand how their choices impact their lives. It's scenario-based, it's game-based, it's super, super fun. And in fact, that's what I went on to Changemakers for, was to get the funding to actually build this app. And in amongst all of that, there's a whole bunch of other products and services that were born out of this journey, because I realized that while the app was being built, that these things needed to come into play, or they actually kind of happened a little bit organically. So I have now, in fact, when we first met, I just launched my cards.
Yes, I remember.
Yes. And so that was where my business had started, and I had no idea that this is what it would evolve to. And so you've actually been on the journey with me almost right from the start.
Yeah. It's very interesting to see, because like you don't always get that opportunity to actually see something start from the beginning and then 3 years or 3.5 years later see how it comes to fruition. Because this was actually, I remember when we had our first few calls, that you mentioned that you wanted to do an app. That was the vision. You wanted to do an app for kids. And so fast forward 3.5 years later, it's in, the stores.
Yeah.
And so for me, that's so amazing just to see. And so again, like I'm super proud of you,
Thank you so
for
much.
the whole trajectory. And so maybe let's go into kind of like when you started, what were the challenges that you felt at the beginning? And then obviously during it's 3.5 year journey. So I would like for you to kind of like take the viewers into kind of like the trajectory of how you started, what were the challenges in between, and where you're currently at now.
Yeah. Kind of feels like, I mentioned it earlier. It's kind of like I feel like I moved from being a baby to now a grown up in that journey. And so the initial phases, like I mentioned, I had just the cards. And when you and I started talking, this opportunity for change makers came about. And this made me realize the idea from an app for the app didn't need to just be an idea anymore. I could actually bring it to life.
Yeah.
And so it kind of moved that bar forward. But then realizing that I had used all my savings to start my business and develop the cards, I wasn't in a position to just go out and develop an app, right?
Yeah.
I needed to figure out what that journey looked like. Also, going on to a TV show and pitching an idea in front of judges and the world is a very scary and daunting position, but it's also very exciting because but it takes a lot of courage and confidence. And this is something that I feel our journey together has really helped me build in. I didn't know what was expected from investors and what that journey looked like until I was facing it head on. And I feel that our time together was really pivotal in that moment, because you helped me put together my pitch deck. We had those conversations around what investors look for, helping me understand that, I'm not paying myself a salary and I need to keep going, perseverance, no longer having that financial stability of a salary coming in every month. What does that look like? How much do I go and ask for? Because, it's like a lot of it is guesswork. So if I have to look at the entire journey from there, those were a lot of things that I was facing that I didn't have insight into in the beginning. But as we worked through together, you kept me accountable. You helped me build my confidence in actually facing the show, and then afterwards having the conversations with the investors and getting the investment itself was key to where I am today. So looking back at 3.5 years ago, I mean, it was 2 years ago that the investment came through.
Yeah.
And in that time, we've been building the app and developing all these other products, but also you and I staying together the entire time was so important because it wasn't just about that conversation. It's about consistency. It's about building on that confidence. It's about growing together and having that support, having that soundboard, like you mentioned earlier, the regular conversations. I think we spoke once a week, every week.
Yeah.
And that's amazing.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting because I moved from a full-time job to starting this business on my own.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a pain to purpose story, it was born out of my son needing tools and me as a parent also needing tools to cope and thrive through emotional turmoil. He was suffering with anxiety at the time because of a disorder that he was diagnosed with. And I think that is what propelled me into taking the leap and saying, you know what, I'm tired of calling in to say I can't come to work today because my son needs me and all of that. So what I did was I spoke to my husband and I said, what does it look like if I don't have a job. You know, we moved from South Africa.
Yeah.
And we were also dealing with a pandemic and at that same time. So there was a lot happening. And so it was quite a leap of faith and a very big risk to take, I guess, at that time. But something inside of me just said, I've got to do this. Like there was an urgency inside of me. And so he kind of said to me, my husband said to me, let's give it 6 months. Let's see how it goes and what this looks like. And I put everything into it, my heart and soul and my life savings, right? It's quite a big change from having that guarantee of a monthly income to now figuring how you're going to make ends meet.
Yep.
And so I was very fortunate to have some love money from him, you know, supporting the family and running things from that point of view. But, you know, it's really hard as well because you want to contribute still. You want to, you know, you don't want to feel like you're just, you know, going for the ride.
Yeah.
And it wasn't about being a stay-at-home mom or anything like that. I wanted to be successful in my own right. But at the same time, doing meaningful work, something that was impactful. And so this is how the cards were born, the Life Wizard Power Cards, and then this idea for the app to meet kids where they're at in a digital space and what that journey looked like, trying to figure out how this was all going to, because at that time they were just ideas, and how to bring them to life. So I'd say the challenges were financial, of course, because now I no longer had this guarantee of a monthly income. So I had to dive into some of my savings. And so a lot of the beginning of my journey was self-funded.
Yeah.
The emotional challenges as well, you know, it's confidence, believing in yourself, that mental piece when you wake up in the morning and you go, I'm here, I've got to do this. It's how you keep showing up, right? You've got to keep showing up. It's a mental journey as well. And then I guess finding, you know, you need to continuously grow as well. So showing up really helps, because on the days that you're not doing anything, you know, laundry calls and the dishes call, and then I'm also a mom outside of that, so it's a soccer mom to add to that. So there's always something that needs to be done outside of work. So it's really just keeping yourself in check. So I guess, my biggest challenges along the way have been the mental journey, trying to keep showing up even when things aren't moving, or when you're stuck on these ideas, or the financial journey, which is also an emotional one, because we brought up with all kinds of beliefs around money as well. So it's like, how do I keep showing up? How do I ask people for money for something that I'm doing that I love, or that I would do for free because it's such an amazing, impactful thing to do. Yeah. There's always those things have always, I'd say, been my biggest. I don't even want to call them obstacles, because they easily overcome. Right? Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. And like going to, for example, the financial challenges, and then we'll go into the other ones. So with the financial challenges, right, being an entrepreneur is obviously not for the faint of heart. So what were kind of like beliefs that you were brought up with that you now, being an entrepreneur, think, okay, those were not beliefs that would serve me moving forward, if that makes any sense?
I think maybe the typical, you know, money doesn't grow on trees, or something my mom always used to say to me, and was maybe not something that, it might still be something that I carry along with me, is that you should never owe people money.
Yeah, I was brought up with that as well.
Yeah, so that makes it very hard to then ask for money. Yeah. It's like, even throughout my career, you know, if you needed to ask for a raise and things like that, you know, you kind of thought, who am I to ask for this? Or and culturally as well, or even maybe not even culturally, generationally, I think women were really taught to be at home, right? The man or the husband or the partner was going to be the one who was the breadwinner to go out and make the money. And it was kind of like, how can I be more successful than my husband?
Yeah.
So I guess that's been something that we've even had conversations around it, him and I, to kind of break those financial blocks or those money blocks that stop you from achieving your goals because you're scared that you're going to offend somebody, or they do hold you back.
Yeah. And since they're like, if they would hold you back, right? How did you get out of that part of it holding you back to transforming that in something that would positively impact you in the business, if that makes sense?
I think probably having conversations with other people around, or like having the conversation with my husband around what does it look like if I were to be more successful, in a sense, right?
Yeah.
And they're hard conversations to have because, of course, he wants me to be successful, but not, there's reputation and things, maybe culturally as well, that, we don't want to upset the apple cart. It's what helped me overcome them was really having those conversations, and then just also believing that the money will come no matter what. If I keep showing up to do the work that I feel that I'm destined to do and feeling purposeful in my mission, that it will just flow. There's lots of little things that I've done along the way to help me keep that flow or to create that flow.
Yeah.
And a lot of it actually has to do with trust in myself, trust in the process, trust in my abilities to show up every day, trust that people will believe in the idea with me.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Because for me personally, like, one thing that I've learned many things, but one thing that I've learned is I guess money is also connected to self-worth. And I think we've had these conversations quite often, right? That if you don't feel worthy, that you also see that it reflects in like how you, for example, price your services or your products or whatsoever, and how people actually react. So for you, like, how has self-worth been connected to kind of like your, I guess, financial abundance, if I can call it abundance, of course? Like, how has that been for you, that connection?
That's a really good question, and not an easy one to answer, because I guess it comes from, self-worth comes from what you believe and what you believe about yourself. So I guess the journey for me has been proving to myself, it's like the evidence that shows up when somebody buys a pack of cards and tells me how they're helping.
Yeah.
And then suddenly I see the value behind it. So it really, and then it does link back to me, in the entrepreneurial journey, and I'm sure a lot of people would agree with this, is that something that shows up is called imposter syndrome.
Yes.
Who am I to be doing this work? Who do I think I am charging these prices, and that kind of stuff? But it's when I see the real value and the impact behind the work that I do, it's not actually something you can put a price on. And so I start to not see it for the price tag, but rather for the value behind it. And that was something that comes from within me.
Yeah.
That's something that I go, this is not just a product that I quickly printed and sent out into the world. There's a lot behind this work. What you see in production, for example, a 300-page quest book that I've developed now, which is a part of an online course.
Yeah.
That has got my life's work in it. And so it's really hard to put a price on something like that and put it out into the world. But it's sometimes you also have to just separate yourself from the product and realize that the value is there, and to trust in the process then.
100%.
Yeah.
That's a good one, to separate yourself from the product or the service. Speaking of services, you've obviously run it into services as well. So you're helping parents and their kids as well. So maybe tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so that's something that I've always aspired to. As far back as I can remember, I've always wanted to help people in some kind of way. I've always been in roles that have been around relationships. And when I developed this work, I realized that my son needed help on an emotional level. And there's a lot of healing for myself that's happened through this journey as well. I wanted to help kids one-on-one, and there's never a one-size-fits-all. And so going into the coaching services helped me to also help a lot of families. So I work very closely with parents and kids, helping them deal with their emotions and behaviors. They're navigating a very different world to what I navigated when I was growing up. And these are not skills that are being taught in schools or even at home, not to the fault of the school system or to the fault of the educators or even to parents, because they're not skills that have been taught before. So it's really about bringing this into homes and hopefully into schools as well, where dealing with kids one-on-one at that level has helped me to tailor their needs and using the tools that I have developed, and making it fun and engaging and practical. You know, I've taken really big psychology concepts and I've adapted them so that kids and families can understand them and apply them. And the results have been amazing, and it just really fuels me to keep going in that direction. Yeah, it's been an incredible journey. And also I learn so much from those families, and it helps me, you know, we all learn from each other. And it's really helped me to put a lot of that learning into the app, into the quest book, into the cards, so that a lot of other families are also benefiting from this work that I do and as part of the services that I offer.
Looking back, and this is a question that you can obviously answer in different ways. So transformation, right? And we all have a different definition of transformation. For you, what were the moments where you felt, ooh, okay, I've transformed from where I was up until now? And it could be different moments because, again, we're on a trajectory, right? So, but what were like the biggest aha moments of transformation for you?
Gosh, there's so many, and I'm actually just thinking of something that happened just yesterday. In fact, a family that I used to work with reached out to me. One of the kids has grown up a little bit more now and is of the age that I coach, and she asked me a little bit about the coaching, if I'm still doing it and all of that. And what was so nice was that I looked back when I was replying to her, I realized how far I've come, because even my coaching has evolved so much. My program, the tools that I offer, the strategies, all of that, it's so much more than what it was a couple of years ago. So it's really amazing to look back at those milestones. Also, when I first started out developing the app, and the app was recently launched now in August. Presenting it to the relevant stakeholders in getting this app out into the world. Looking back at those first conversations that I had when I was saying I'm going to be developing this app, had no idea what it was going to look like, and seeing what it looks like. And now, in fact, a couple of weeks ago, I did an event called PlayCon, where I was able to showcase my app with Gaming Malta.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
amazing.
and that was, they gave me an incredible opportunity to showcase the app. And watching the kids come and play the app and having those conversations with parents and understanding, like, Life Hero is no longer just a product. It's a system. It's something that it's almost like a way of life. And that for me was like such a pivotal moment, realizing that what started out as a pack of cards to help my son deal with his anxiety is now a product that can reach kids across the world.
Exactly.
Like, I actually feel a bit emotional even saying that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's amazing. Like I said, the trajectory that you've been on, and I just see you going bigger and bigger. I'm going to ask that question about like what your plans are afterwards. But if we go back to kind of like, you know, all of the beautiful challenges that you've been through, how did you feel? Because let me say it personally, like I've had many moments in my journey where I was like, okay, I'm just going to give up. I'm just going to be like, you know, but still there was something in me where I was like, no, just go on, just go on, just go on. How have you dealt with, you know, setbacks where you were thinking, okay, I just want to quit or I just want to give up? How have you persevered, and what was kind of like, you know, that internal thing that you felt like, okay, I still need to go on?
Gosh, there have been many of those moments, and I completely relate to that. You know, resilience is one of those skills that we haven't, you know, that we didn't get taught in school.
Yeah, exactly.
And it comes from being able to show up, which is not easy, especially, you know, there's days where you feel financially strapped, you feel tired, and it's like it can feel much easier to just go back into the workforce and get a average 9 to 5 and just have that stability.
Yeah.
The thing that keeps me going is knowing that this is not just about money. It's about the impact that I'm creating in the world. This work has a lot of meaning and purpose behind it. So I know just from what I've seen in the families that I've worked with and the feedback that I've had through the cards and the book and the app, that this is something big, and I do feel like it is something really big. And it's that that keeps me going. When somebody says to me, you know, this really helped me, and I say, good, like that's what keeps me going. But it's not easy.
It's definitely not. And you're also helping not only in Malta, right? Because I think it's also international. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I actually work with kids online as well, internationally, and the cards have been shipped all over the world.
Yeah.
They're in many countries now. And also the app is available in both the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store, and it's free to download, so it's accessible. Everybody can access it. And so I've had quite a nice traction of kids all over the world. I mean, even I've seen in Denmark and China and Estonia and countries that I didn't even believe it could reach. So it's definitely reaching kids all over the world. So very excited about that.
I love that. I love that. What are you most proud of when you look at everything that you've built up until now?
That's a tough one, because I guess I'm really proud of myself in the fact that I've managed to stick it out and come this far.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really proud of that. I'm really proud of I guess my family for supporting me through this, because it hasn't been easy for them either.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And so also really proud of my son for owning this through the process. You know, he's kind of like the Kickstarter to all of this. So it's like, and just him owning that also is super, because, you know, he hasn't taken a step back. Like he's really come into his own, and his progress is also what keeps me going. And I guess I'm proud of the work, the products that have come out, because I know their potential impact. So yeah, I guess I have a lot to be proud of.
Of course, 100%.
And thankful for as well, yeah. And I guess it's a growing process,
Yeah.
right? It's all about that growth.
Yeah.
And I think it's good that when you are at a point where you're, we spoke about this earlier, when you feel like you just want to give up.
Yeah.
It's just about showing up. It's just about taking those moments and just showing up to the task. And what's one thing that I can do today that will align with my mission, with the journey, and that. And it's, even in terms of like marketing and social media and things, that's like, I feel like I'm out of my depth in those areas. And getting out there into the world can feel so scary.
Yeah.
And it's things like that that really make me kind of go, okay, when I have the support from our conversations, you and I, I have someone in the UK who's helping me with some of my social media marketing.
Yes.
She's amazing, right? She really helps me position myself and build that, because there's a lot more that I could be doing, but it's also finding capacity when you're by yourself.
Exactly.
Capacity is so important, and how you are spending your time and how you prioritize yourself in those moments is so, so important to your energy and what you then able to put into your business to keep growing.
Yeah.
Attending these kinds of events. Yesterday I was at the Startup Festival in Malta, which was amazing. There were some super inspiring talks and lots of opportunities to network, and also understanding where I fit in.
Yeah.
And knowing that you're not alone, that you're not the only entrepreneur in the world,
Exactly.
and you're not the only one going through these things,
Yeah.
really helps you to kind of go, okay, it really speaks to our sense of belonging, right? And that's such an important part of how we live and how we do show up in life, is understanding if I don't feel like I fit in, I feel very alone.
Yeah.
And that can make me not show up.
Yeah.
So when you do feel like you're part of something, when you're part of something bigger, when you're part of a community, when you're part of even if it's not your industry, it's okay.
Yeah.
Just to see that you're not alone in those aspects. Because if you had to take entrepreneurship and you had to put it into different silos, there's a lot of overlap regardless of the industry.
Yeah.
The process and the challenges, and that you might actually find so much common ground with other entrepreneurs. And so I think also one of the most important things in an entrepreneur's journey is having these connections, having these communities and collaborations and things like that to help you to keep going, to feel like you fit in, to feel like you can have conversations, honest conversations. They often, someone actually mentioned it the other day, there's these CEO groups, these private CEO groups where when you're a CEO of a company that you can join the CEO groups. And it's the only opportunity that these CEOs are able to just be honest about their challenges and the things that they face in their position, at their level.
Yeah.
And I think that, it's quite an important part of our growth. And we never stop growing.
Yeah.
There's always room for improvement, and there's always room to grow. And the important thing is that you're looking for those things as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's what keeps me going.
Yeah. That's interesting. I think proximity, like when I started in the beginning, I was really like a bit of a lone wolf. Or wolfin. What's the female version of wolf? Anyway. And so I was like really like focused. Okay, these are the things that I'm going to do. And the more that I'm growing, the more that I see like, oh, I do want to have more people. I do want to be more surrounded by people like me or people that are further than me. So like being in these networking groups is super important, because now it's kind of like a different ball game.
Yeah.
Like I also just recently got a mentor, and he's an ex-banker. He's lived in different countries as well, and worked in different countries, which is perfect for me because I love traveling, and I've
Yes.
lived in different countries. And so he's gonna help me with that next level of where I want to go to. And so I do feel that proximity to the CEO groups or entrepreneurial groups and things like that are so important, especially even in the beginning at the start. But I think once you're growing more, it's just a different ball game, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like, I think, one of my next steps for next year, which we're also going to ask you for next year, for me is going to be like, I want to be more in proximity to these entrepreneurs, like be more in these groups, whether it's in different countries, if that makes any sense, because I do want to get to that next level.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
It does, and I think it is about leveling up,
Yeah.
because that is how we grow. And also having these conversations is important, because that feedback,
Yeah.
it sparks ideas, and it helps you to think outside of your little box that you're in when you're on your own, right?
Exactly.
And I think it's really important to keep focusing on those kinds of networks and people that will feed you,
Yeah.
and to help you grow, because that sense of community, that sense of growth, and that also speaks to how you show up
Yeah.
in your place. And you mentioned it now, when they have entrepreneur organizations, you know the saying, you are who you hang with.
Yeah.
So it's so true. Like when you are surrounding yourself with people who are successful and who are ambitious, you'll find that you'll feel and grow towards that too.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
that's been my experience as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Love that. Love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So we're coming to kind of like the final end of our beautiful talk. And I obviously want to thank you for the invite and being here. I have 3 questions, actually 4. So
Okay.
3 questions, which is first going to be on a relationship with money, right? And then the end question is going to be on what's your future perspective for yourself and the business and everything else. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, cool. So first question is, how has your relationship with money changed over the years?
Very good question. I think that for me, I have a much healthier relationship with money now, where I stand, especially since the beginning. It was very hard to dig into my life savings to fund this business.
Yeah, same.
And so money was always fearful to spend. And now where I'm at, I feel like money is in flow. And so, having been able to trust in the process and know that it's just everything manifests the way that it's going to, and it really is about how you trust and show up in the process. It's definitely changed the way that I see money, but there's been a lot of mental work behind that as well. It's breaking those limiting beliefs around money, or those money beliefs, or those blocks that I've had. I've attended courses and classes and watched shows and challenges around what that looks like. I mean, there's so many of them out there. But I think it's really just about having that trust that's really changed things for me.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah.
And what does financial freedom mean for you?
So I think for me, financial freedom is really about being able to do the things that you love without thinking about money, right? It's not about how much money you have, because I think that your lifestyle will always grow with you, right? So you're always going to be funding your life the way that with the amount of money you have, let's say, for example. So for me, financial freedom is about having capacity to do the things that I love. I love traveling and also seeing the world. I also have a lot of hopes for myself internationally. Getting to have that flexibility to spend time with my family, because I think family is really important.
Yeah.
So that means not having to think about what everything costs in every single moment, having that stress of trying to make ends meet. I don't really want to be thinking about those things. It's not easy to get there, though. It's
a journey.
It is a journey, and it's also a mindset.
Yeah,
it's definitely a mindset. So thinking about being in flow, and I think one of the things for me the most has been gratitude. Being grateful for the things that I already have actually makes me feel abundant already. And I think that's been one of my biggest money lessons, in fact, is helping myself be grateful for the things that I already have helps me to feel abundant. It's really, really good.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And what's the legacy that you want to actually leave behind with, your business and what you're doing and the influence and impact that you're having? What's the legacy that you want to leave behind? It could be for you and your family, for, the world.
So, I mean, when you talk about legacy, it can be quite loaded, because it's not one dimensional, right? It's multifaceted for me, especially. So I think if I had to look at it as a whole, and also knowing that we don't have that much time left, I think that the important thing for me is the impact of the work that I'm doing. So I want this work to be in every family, in every home. I want it to be in schools. I want my family to obviously benefit emotionally as well as financially from whatever it is that I do. But I think it's less about the money and more about the impact. And when I think of legacy, I think of the purpose and the meaning behind the work. So for me, I would like there to be more peace and love and joy in the world. I want kids to be able to live a happy childhood where they feel fulfilled, where they are in control of their emotions, where they know that they have the power to choose no matter what situation they're facing. Those are the things that are really important to me.
Yeah. Super.
So I'm actually curious to know how it feels on the other side of the, being a mentee.
Yes.
Is one thing. And I really believe in reverse mentorship as well. So I think we've had quite a reciprocal time together.
100%.
I'm quite curious to know from you what it feels like to be on the other side. Like what made you want to become a mentor and do the kind of work that you do?
Yeah. I think for me, honestly, I really like giving back. I don't know. It's just an internal thing for me that I feel good when I serve or when I do something for somebody else. Don't know where it comes from. Maybe it's just my upbringing. I don't know. But it also teaches me things, because when you serve others, you're going to teach, or you're going to get thought as well, if that makes any sense. And so it's just an internal feeling of wanting to give, wanting to help others also, because I think at the end of the day, I would love to get that as well, or of course I'm getting that, but at that time I would have loved to have somebody help me as well along the way, because a lot of the things I had to kind of find out for myself, although I've had mentors before, but it's still kind of your own journey, your own trajectory, your own. And I am so a believer in intuition and God. And I feel like our intuition tells us a lot of how and where and what to do. And so that's what I've been following. But I also believe in giving back and also helping others along the journey, because I think I feel grateful to be in this position, if that makes any sense. Yeah. And I would love for others to also have that, I guess, that opportunity or that feeling of being grateful. And you don't have to be an entrepreneur. I'm not saying that, but just, helping others get to that next step, whether it's in entrepreneurship, whether it's for example, my friends or whatsoever, you know, like sharing kind of my experiences and just helping people move forward in life. I think that's kind of like been my forte, if I can call it like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, you are really good at it. And
thank you.
it's true. The learning journey is never one-sided.
Yeah.
It's always, we learn from each other, and that's how we grow together.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's whether or not you are open to receiving the learning or the teachings or whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
And it's good that you are able to tap into that intuition and to work with that, because I think that's often where our sense of purpose comes from as well,
Yes.
you know. And I used to teach as well. I used to, my mom and I used to have it was out of our garage back in South Africa. We used to have this studio where we taught. It was called the Universal Healing Sanctuary.
Oh,
and we'd
really? That's so
we
cool.
wanted to empower stay-at-home moms actually with a skill. So we taught massage, we taught reflexology, Indian head and shoulders massage.
You didn't tell me this. This is something new.
Yeah,
This is so cool.
exactly. I
So
just thought
nice.
of it now because that's actually where my love for teaching came from.
Yeah.
Because I found it to be so rewarding and something that really helped me grow as a person and grow out of like sort of understanding that it doesn't matter how old you are,
Yeah.
you still can learn. And I had have these women who were much older than me. They were moms themselves. They were old enough to be my mom.
Yeah.
And they would come and they'd want to be learning, and they would be open to me, who was so much younger than them, and they would really learn from my teaching. And I used to find that so rewarding, to be able to impart with knowledge and to also see the impact of your teachings, of your work.
Exactly,
That's
that part.
so amazing.
Exactly that part.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, going back to like your trajectory, I find it so beautiful to just see like where you were and where you are now, and just that whole growth process.
Yeah.
It's so inspiring. Like, it's really inspiring. And it's very interesting because like you were talking about teaching. Like, my dad is a teacher. Obviously, I knew that, but like it just came to me as like, oh, my dad was a teacher as well. Maybe it's also, you know, in the family somewhere. I don't know.
See?
Yeah.
And this is the beauty of these kinds of conversations,
Yeah.
right? And it just goes to show what we were talking about earlier about, not doing this journey alone.
Yeah.
When we stuck in our own space and we're not speaking and we're not collaborating and we're not having these kinds of conversations, these ideas are not coming to us.
Yeah.
And so, we end up having, we missed, they're like missed opportunities almost.
Exactly.
So I love that. Even I didn't think of that idea earlier until now. They come into conversations, and this is actually often where other ideas are born.
Yeah.
In fact, in the beginning, when I first decided on the cards, I created a few cards for my son to take to school.
Yeah.
And I started chatting to other parents, and that's actually where I realized that they were going through the same things, but nobody was talking about it.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting, because what starts to happen is we suffer in silence, and we don't mean to. It's just like we're worried about being judged, or we're
Is
worried
it kind
about
of like shame, you think, that
shame.
people...
It's totally shame.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's totally shame. I think that we were kind of taught or conditioned to, put on this facade and, not show our parts that could embarrass us, or that where we could be judged, because we fear being hurt. We fear we don't want to be humiliated.
Yeah.
So we rather hide those parts, and some of them can really eat away at you.
Yeah.
And I think that when I started chatting to those moms and suddenly we were having these conversations, it's almost like, goodness, I'm not the only one who's going through this. And started to see that there were so many other families who were experiencing big emotions with their kids, or other things that they weren't talking about. And suddenly when it was out in the open, it felt safe and we could talk about it. And this is also what started fueling this idea to get back into the coaching. I knew, socially it became a little bit difficult for me, because all I wanted to do, I literally have lived and breathed this for the last 4 years of my life. Like it has been, it's epitomized every part of me. And I've actually found myself even at social events. This is all I can talk about. I want to help so much that I end up asking the questions about what's happening with your family. And I'm already placing these things. In fact, I have a friend, I've been talking to her about this stuff for the last 2 years, and they've been struggling. And I've suggested it many times, and only recently she's started bringing her kids to sessions with me.
Okay.
But I think it's about, and it's so funny because she said to me, I can't believe we didn't do this sooner.
But maybe that wasn't the time.
Well, the thing is, I think a lot of it is backed by fear. Like, or, as a mom, we don't want to give up that control. We don't want to feel that we're not capable of doing it ourselves.
Okay, yeah,
and we
interesting.
you feel responsible. And then maybe I could compare that to the journey of an entrepreneur. When I said I need to separate myself from my products. It's about being able to let go, because I can't grow if I need to be there at every single part of the journey. I need to, if I want to scale my business, if I want to grow, I need to be able to. Yes, I need to let go. I need to pass on the knowledge. I need to allow other people to do some coaching, or to sell the books, or to do the other parts of the business that would be their zone of genius.
100%.
And so a lot of it is about letting go. You can still nurture. You can still nurture, but you can let go too.
Yeah, it's interesting because like the coach or mentor coach that I'm talking to now, he also said the same thing about, and I knew this with regards to scaling like a company, that you need to build a team and stuff like that. And we have a very small team, but he also told me and said like, if you really want to go to that next level, you have to build a team. You have to maybe bring on other coaches that you teach your method to, and then that's the next step of like scaling. So 100% with what you're saying, I'm not a mom yet, but I can imagine that, you want to take full responsibility of your kids. But sometimes it's also like, okay, I have the capability still here. And there's somebody else maybe that could, help me with whatever aspect that is. If that makes sense.
Well, just like they say, it takes a village.
It takes a village,
but then I guess it's the same in your entrepreneurial journey, right? It also you grow from people. You can't do it alone. It's not meant to be done alone. And in fact, as human beings, we are not actually designed to be alone. We are designed to be social and to connect and build through community.
Exactly.
That is actually how we thrive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I won't go into the psychology of it though, because then we'll be here for much longer.
I know. I'd
love to, but that's for the next one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We've had many long conversations.
Yes.
So no, 100%. And so Lauren, for next year, like, what are the goals that you have in mind, and what are you thinking of wanting to achieve?
So I think next year, as I mentioned about the app, I'd really love to see it in schools and in homes. I'd love Life Hero to feel like a way of life, something that people actually know as a method in their lives. They know what that means. So showing up as the hero in their own lives, in fact, I'm also in the process of writing a book. It's called...
oh my God, this is so good. Okay.
Thanks. So it's called Raising Life Heroes, and it's less of a biography kind of book. It's more of a handbook, a practical guide for parents specifically. I just want to give something back to parents, because as a parent myself, one of the things when I had my son in therapy, I found that, even though they were giving me feedback, when it came to situations, I didn't actually know what to do. And I felt at a loss for all of these, of how to help him. And so now that I know what I know, and I am able to give that back, and I want parents to feel just as empowered as me in those moments, I want to help them have those tools. So it's really a parent toolbook. It's a handbook, something that they can, maybe I could call it a toolkit, something that that they could use as a practical guide. I call it the apply on the fly strategies that they can use in those big moments, because that's often where we get stuck as parents. We get stuck in those moments where we're like, what am I supposed to say now? What must I do? Or and often we can only parent from a place that we've been parented. So it's really important that we have this additional help. So it's really, I guess it's the parent handbook we never had.
Oh,
that's really the goal.
Good.
Yeah,
that's so good.
Yeah,
I mean, I know for sure, like, this is me imagining things, right? Like when I have kids, and I know, because I'm also in therapy, and I know that, we take on, many times we take on things from our parents, maybe unconsciously, and then when you're in certain situations with certain people, that comes up. Right? I've had that, especially recently. And so I know that I feel that when I have kids, that there's maybe some unconscious things that I didn't even know that I had, maybe from my parents, that are going to come up, which I want to work through, because obviously my kids are going to be in a different generation than me, obviously, and it's going to be just a whole different parenting, if that makes any sense, or that's what I think. And so I think having these tools, these handbooks, your cards, the quest book, these are very good tools for all of us and all of the parents currently and future parents to have, to really, be able to hopefully, how do you say? I'm thinking in Spanish as well.
It happens.
Yeah, that happens when you speak four languages. When you want to raise your kids, if that makes sense. So I think it's just amazing what you're doing for parents.
Thanks.
Globally.
Yeah. The idea is that it's going to, like you're saying, we brought up in different generations.
Yeah.
And kids these days are navigating way more than we ever had to deal with when we were growing up. But as parents, we're also learning. So we're also navigating the world, but through a different lens.
Yeah.
So it's really about, I've created these tools in such a foundational and fundamental way that no matter what you're facing, that these skills are core to who we are as human beings.
Exactly.
So no matter what the world looks like on the outside, it's what is happening on the inside.
Exactly.
That we are controlling, when we realize that we are the only ones who are in control of ourselves, our choices, our thoughts, our feelings. That's how we show up.
Exactly.
But because of how we conditioned from the outside, we're taking in all of those, like you said, unconsciously.
Yeah.
We might react in a way that I often hear my mom come through me when I'm talking to my kids, and I say, gosh, I sound just like my mom there, right?
Yeah.
And that's so natural and so normal.
Yeah.
But it's knowing what to do and how that impacts, that's important.
Exactly.
So it's really recognizing how you want to be as a parent. And something that I tell parents a lot is that the intention behind your parenting is really what matters the most.
Yeah. Interesting.
And this is, the same thing applies in life. Intention is so important to everything that we do and how we show up.
Yeah.
And if you can set an intention for yourself every day of how you want your day to be, how you want your business to be, how you want your relationships to be, everything has intention behind it.
Yeah.
And if you can be intentional about it, you can be successful in each of those areas of your life. Yeah.
Exactly.
Good.
I'm super proud of you, Lauren. Like, just the trajectory of like the 3.5 years working together. For me, it's also an honor to see this, like when we started working up until now. And I think it's also a great example for a lot of people that when they feel like that they, want to give up, that they're just having to keep on going, because you started from, having the pack of cards to now having an app and getting funding and all of that. So that's just beautiful to see. So I hope this inspires others as well to just go for their dreams,
Me too. And thank you.
You're welcome.
But this has been super enlightening, and I've really loved being here. And I just want to say a very big thank you to you for having me on your podcast and being part of the Feminine Ledger. I mean, wow. What you are building and the message that you are putting out there is so important for so many people out there. And
Thank you.
yeah, I love everything you stand for.
Thank you, Miss Lauren. No, I really appreciate you being here, and of course inviting me to Malta and this beautiful studio. So thank you.
What a pleasure it is to have you here, and now you can come and enjoy the beautiful weather.
Exactly,
Yes.
exactly. I hope this episode sparked something in you, whether it's a new perspective, a reminder of your power, or just a motivation to keep building wealth your way. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about money. It's about creating a life that feels right for you, breaking old cycles, and fully stepping into your power. If this episode resonated with you, let's keep the conversation going. Share your favorite moment on social at The Feminine Ledger and make sure that you're subscribed. And send this to another Reina who needs to hear it. Thanks for being part of The Feminine Ledger, where we do money, success, and life on our own terms. Until next time, keep owning your power and making moves that matter.